4 times the weight of Trey is 90 pounds more than the weight of Christina. So we have 4t, so 4 times the weight of Trey is means equals 90 pounds more than the weight of Christina. So it's whatever Christina weighs plus 90 more pounds. 3 times the weight of Christina, so that's 3c, is 500 pounds less than 13 times the weight of Trey. So whatever 13 times the weight of Trey is, it's going to be 500 pounds less. So we have to subtract 500. 3 times the weight of Trey plus the weight of K equals 1,510 pounds. And then John is the same weight as the other three combined. So that's going to be C plus K plus T. So there's a couple ways to do this. We can use a system of equations to solve it, or we can convert it into a matrix and solve it. So the first way we're going to use is the system of equations. So I'm going to use the first and the second equation, and I'm going to rewrite it. So I first have the t's first, so you subtract the c, and then this one I'm going to switch spots with the c and the t. So we'll have, or rather subtract both sides by 13t. We're going to keep the c on the left side. Okay. Now we're going to multiply the top equation by 3 so we can eliminate c. And then keep the second equation the same. So it's 12t minus 3c equals 270, negative 13t, and then this is plus 3c equals negative 500. We can add these. The c's are going to cancel. We have negative t equals negative 230, and so t is equal to 230. So we can plug it into either equation. I'm just going to plug it into the first one. So we have 4 times 230 equals c plus 90. 4 times 230 is 920. And then we're going to subtract both sides by 90 and get that c is 830. Okay, now since we have t, we can work with equation 3. So we have 3t. T is 230 plus k is 1,510. 3 times 230 is 690. And if we subtract both sides by 690, we get that k equals 820. Finally, we can use the last equation. We have j equals c, which is 830, plus k, which is 820, plus t, which is 230, and get 1,880. So those are all the weights for Trey, Christina, Kayla, and John. Now, using the matrix, I'm going to rewrite the equations that we have, and then we're going to put it into matrix form. So first we had 4t equals 90 plus c, 3c equals 13t minus 500, 3t plus k is 1,510, and j equals t plus c plus k. So the goal here is to rewrite this in terms of a matrix. So in order to do this, we should move everything to the left side. So here we're going to have negative c plus 4t equals 90. 3c minus 13t equals negative 500. And then k plus 3t equals 1,510, and then negative c plus j minus k minus t equals 0. Okay, so for the matrix, the way we're going to do it is like first put the coefficients of C, then J, then K, then T. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is in alphabetical order. So the first matrix, we have a negative 1C, 4T, and then that's going to equal 90. And then we have 3C, negative 13T equals negative 500. K plus 3T is 1,510. Negative C plus J minus K minus T equals 0. All right, from there, we're going to swap row 1 with row 2. So this is 3, negative 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, negative 13, 4, 3, negative 1, negative 500, 90, 1,510, and 0. The next thing we're going to do is take 1/3 row 1 and add it to row 2. And that's going to be our new row 1. So take 1/3 row 1. I'm sorry, this is going to be our new row 2. Okay, so 1/3 row 1. So 1/3 times 3 is 1. 1 plus negative 1 is 0. The first row remains the same. We're not going to touch it. So 1/3 0 times 0 plus 0 is 0. Same thing. 1/3 times negative 13 is negative 13 over 3. And then plus row 2, that's plus 4, becomes negative 1 over 3. So 1/3 times negative 500 plus 90 is going to give us negative 230 over 3. The other rows stay the same. Now multiply row 2 by negative 3. So we have 3, 0, 0, negative 13, negative 500. Now row 2 we multiply by negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 1/3 is 1. And then negative 230 times negative 3 is just 230. Everything else is the same. Now we want to add 1/3 times row 1 to row 4. Okay, so 1/3 times 3, it becomes 1. And then 1 plus negative 1 is 0. So first let me actually write this out. So I'm going to leave the first two rows the same. Okay, now 1/3 times 3 is 1, plus negative 1 is 0. These are zeros, so 1/3 times them is just 0. So we have 1 and negative 1. Negative 13 times 1/3 is negative 13 over 3, plus negative 1 becomes negative 16 over 3. And 1/3 times negative 500 plus 0 is just negative 500 over 3. Now I'll multiply row 4 by 3. And the reason we're doing that is to eliminate the denominator. So everything else is the same. Okay, so we have 0, 1 times 3, negative 1 times 3, negative 16 times 3, 16 over 3 times 3, and then negative 500 over 3 times 3. Now I'm going to swap row 2 with row 4. I'm going to subtract 3 times row 4 from row 3. So I guess what we could say is 3 times row 4, and then minus row 3, and that's going to be our new row 3. So we have 3, 0, 0, negative 13. So the first row, second row, they're all the same. So 3 times row 4. So the first 3 entries of row 4 is 0. So that's going to be 0. So we just have 0 minus whatever row 3 is. So 0, 0. And then 0 minus 1 is negative 3. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 3 is 0. And then 3 times 230, that's 690, minus 1,510. So that's going to give us 820, negative 820 rather. And then the row 4 is just going to be the same. And actually, I guess I should have done, just to keep it simpler, change the sign. So I guess we could just put this as a negative and this as a positive. So then these are both positive. That's better. Okay, so these last two rows are good. This one we need to divide by 3, and this one we need to divide by 3 and also get rid of these two. So we're going to do 3 times row 3 added to row 2. That's going to be my new row 2. Okay, so 3 times 0 plus 0, 3 times 0 plus 3, that's 3. 3 times 1 is 3, plus negative 3 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0, minus 16 is negative 16. Then we have 3 times 820 minus 500. That's going to be 1,960. And then everything else is the same. Now we need to take care of the negative 16. So we're going to do 16 times row 4. And then add it to row 2. So the last row, they're all going to be zeros except the one here and the 230. This one, 16 times 1 plus negative 16 is going to be 0. So everything's going to remain the same for the first 4 except this one is 0. And then row 3 and 4 are going to be the same. Now for this one here, we do 16 times row 4, which is 230, added to 1,960. And for that, we get 5,640. Now we're going to divide row 2 by 3. So we divided 3 by 3. Now we need to divide 5,640 by 3 to get 1,880. So now the last 3 rows are good. We just need to take care of the first row. So we have a negative 13. So we're going to have 13 times row 4 added to row 1 to be row 1. So with row 4, the first 3 are 0. So 13 times 0 is just 0, which means we're just going to have row 1. Now 13 times 1 plus negative 13, that's 0. Now finally, we have to do 13 times 230 plus negative 5,640. Or sorry, this is a typo. This is negative 500, sorry. It's negative 500. So we do 13 times 230 plus negative 500, which will be 2,490. Finally, we're going to divide row 1 by 3. Okay, now 2,490 divided by 3 becomes 830. So recall that the first column was C, and then it was J, then K, then T. So C is 830, J is 1,880, K is 820, and T is 230. And that is our answer.